Hello and welcome to another 123 days until Halloween episode of We Only Look Thin. I am Katherine Weigel. I am one of your hosts. I've lost over 120 pounds and kept it off for over 7 years. I'm a Tiny Habits certified coach, a Thrive Global certified coach, and definitely ready for the Halloween season
my goodness.
With my husband.
Oh my goodness. It's Donald Weigel.
Donald Weigel.
I am like, that was a gut punch.
Yep. That was the intention.
Thinking about the Halloween season. I was going to say holiday season, the Halloween season already. I am Donald Weigel. I am one of the hosts of the show. I am married to you, Katherine Weigel, and I have lost about 100 pounds, kept it off for about 6 years, and we're here to talk about it.
And you are shaken by the opener of this episode.
I really am. I'm shaken to my core. I didn't know you were going to say that. I didn't know we were going to count days till Halloween. Yeah.
Okay, so how is that making you feel? Like, this is actually the intention.
It gave me a lot of anxiety, and
right.
I really am not sure where it's coming from. And it immediately made me think of fun-sized candies.
Yeah. So,
which is where my head goes.
So I'm going to throw your own words back in your own face.
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, I love it when this happens, when people throw things I've said back in my face.
So about a week before Memorial Day.
Yeah.
In the year of our Lord, 2024.
2024,
okay.
Yeah.
I came to you having been shooketh.
Yeah.
And I said, Donald, something happened today and I need to share it with you.
Yeah.
And I shared it with you. And it was as follows. Hey, Donald.
Yes.
I just went into Joann's Fabrics.
Oh, yeah.
Or Joann Fabric.
Right.
It's singular. It's not possessive. I went into Joann Fabric. Yeah. And I was shaken to my core when I was greeted by a 7-foot tall skeleton and all of the Halloween decorations in Joann Fabric before Memorial Day.
Yeah.
I was like you just were. I was upset. I was a little traumatized.
Right.
I felt like my life was flashing before my eyes.
Right.
And you know what you said, and I'm paraphrasing?
I said something loving and nurturing and supportive.
You were like, what's the big deal? Like, it's not, like, whatever. It's like they're just selling stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds exactly
and
like
my
me.
point was,
Yeah.
I felt like summer was already over.
Yeah.
I felt like I was being rushed. I felt like suddenly society was forcing me ahead toward not even enjoying the season that I'm in. And you said, again, something like, okay, you're overthinking this, then just like, don't worry about it. They're just selling things.
So you thought it would be a good idea to make me feel bad and all of the listeners as in revenge, some sort of misguided revenge.
So what your negative thing did to me from before.
Right.
And this is a month later.
I was going to say this is
a month later.
This is a while ago.
Okay, so this is a month ago. What it did for me, see, I'm looking at the positive. What it did for me was really make me want to consider what I wanted to make my summer look like. How I wanted to invest in my summer to make it feel the most summery of all summers. So really, your vibe, and I'm actually waving my hand at him.
When you think about it, I saved your summer.
You saved my summer.
About it, yeah.
You saved my summer. And
I wasn't dismissive of your feelings. Instead, I saved your summer.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's really, I'm pivoting and I'm growth mindsetting.
Yeah.
And I'm changing.
It was lucky that I
negative
that
paradigms. Yeah, it was lucky that you did that.
I didn't.
But it was very enjoyable to just throw you under the emotional bus and see you in your raw. Like,
no, I know.
Like,
I
wouldn't
know
be.
Why, but I don't know why that gave me so much anxiety. But
well, it's like,
but like the idea of Joann Fabric selling Halloween stuff, I'm still like, whatever.
Okay, we'll see how you haven't even been in there, so you don't even know what it's like to suddenly feel like you're in the wrong season.
Yeah.
But me just scaring you straight.
Yeah, no, I'm scared
disabused
straight.
you of feeling like you were ready for Halloween. Because we love Halloween, right? It's our favorite holiday.
We really do.
But I want to enjoy the season that I'm actually in, which is summer.
Yeah, we've only officially been in summer for what, like 10 days or something? Less than that?
Less than that, I think. But as we are recording this, we are just about to hit the month of July, which happens to be the midway point of the year.
Yeah, we oftentimes record these weeks ahead of time, but right now we're recording it day ahead of time.
A day ahead of time. I was actually out of town for the first couple of weeks of June, and I'm back home again and trying to put kind of some structure in place for what I want my summer to look like. And it's not my job to make Donald's summer look like it looks, but
Yeah.
But I really thought about what it would take to make summer feel like summer. I would also like credit for not saying we're halfway to Christmas, because that actually came up the other day also, and that was also very upsetting. So maybe I'll save that for like September or something like that.
Yeah.
But oftentimes we're so busy looking ahead in the far future that we forget to enjoy the actual season that we're in. And when things like Joann Fabrics already starting to sell things for Halloween, and Target breaking down all the summer stuff and already putting out all the school supplies, it fills me with great anxiety.
Yeah, you can no longer buy swimsuits in stores.
No. But seriously, okay, and also in my defense for Joann Fabrics, and then I'll move on, other women in the store were asking, like other fellow Karens, like myself, we're actually saying, this is upsetting. I want to talk to your manager. It's not even Memorial Day. And your art, like, they're going to start selling Christmas pretty soon. It's too much. It's too much. So
there's a Karen riot over Halloween decorations.
I enjoy hiding my Karen-ness by allowing other louder Karens. Like, we have a neighbor Karen. I won't say her real name. Donald, do you know who our neighbor Karen is?
I 100% know who the neighbor Karen is.
And I hide behind her when she complains about things, because I know she's going to do it for me, so I can just act like I'm a nice person. So anyway, but
I like how you think that your Karen-ness is being hidden. I like how you think that.
Yeah. Well, hidden her.
Hidden her. Not as obvious as it would otherwise be.
Right. So the first step in my deciding to own my summer was deciding to not step in to Joann Fabric for at least the next 2 months. That was kind of step one. But the rest of that was sort of actually deciding, and Donald and I talked about it just the other day, about like, what would actually make this season feel like summer? Like, how can I separate, because we don't have really big plans this summer. We're kind of like, we don't have any visitors that I can remember that are coming in the next couple of months.
No.
This is the first year we're not going on vacation. Our teen does not have summer school.
I know, which is amazing.
Which, I don't even know how to exist right now.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time we didn't have to drive her 40 minutes to school.
Yeah. So we are taking a moment and taking a breath to sort of really think about how we want to approach the coming month/2 months of the year, in July and August. And we want to give you the opportunity as well, dear listener, to think about the season that you're in. What can you do in this season to make the most of your health and fitness goals? What do you need to switch up? I know we just did our series on the ability chain, and Donald wanted to remind us that we said we were going to do another ability chain.
Yeah, we said we were going to do another part of the ability chain. I know I just stepped all over you. We said we were going to do another part of the ability chain, and we're calling an audible. Anybody who follows NFL football knows what that means. We decided to change it up because we have calendars.
We have calendars.
And it turned out it's summer, and we thought, let's do a summertime situation.
Why not? So we are taking a break from the ability chain.
We might still do another part of it.
Yeah, and we're
still talking about
all of this is ability chain, man. So maybe it all ties in here too. But we wanted to give you the opportunity to sort of think about the months ahead and adapting to the season that you're in. and making the most of the season. Not just like we're not just here to track calories and get in steps and then suddenly 2 months have gone by. But how can you use your goals and incorporate the season that you're in to make it feel the most enjoyable?
Yeah, and also, I do this thing, or used to do this thing, to use the scientific term, where I would have all of these aspirations in January, and then I would get to this part of the year, and I would look and say, well, I really haven't done any of those things yet. The year's like half over. I may as well just wait till next year to get going. And it really isn't helpful to sort of look at the calendar in that fashion. And what we would like to encourage you to do is realize it's not that 6 months has gone by in the year, but you still have 6 months to accomplish some of the goals and aspirations you set for yourself back in January.
Right. And realistically, trying to map out 6 months of your life, not super helpful. I can't think of any single time in my entire life where I was able to look that far ahead and accurately predict what was going to happen. But what we can do is focus less on, those check marks and those to-do lists. And we were literally talking about it this morning while we were on our walk.
Yeah.
Life isn't just a bunch of check marks to go through. It's really looking at ways you can invest in yourself to make you feel like you're living a richer life. And in this season of summer in the Northern Hemisphere, there are differences in what we're doing. It's actually Olympic summer. Hooray, Olympic summer. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. I don't know. Olympic summer is fine. But how can you rework your health and fitness goals to fit this season and make it not just about slogging through, but actually enjoying and kind of maybe adding some novelty to your routine? And actually, I found on Facebook one of our listeners, Jessamine. Hello, Jessamine.
Hello.
She actually asked a question that was germane to this topic. So I am going to say what she said and asked. So she said, hey, in the summer, I'm paraphrasing, so I'm not saying what she said.
So you lied to everyone just
I didn't
now.
lie.
Yeah.
I wordsmithed.
Okay. All right. That's what liars say.
She specifically asked, and this is kind of lead us into what we're going to talk about, is hot weather. How do you deal with it with your walking routine? Do you take it inside as opposed to taking it outside? Or do you get on a treadmill, or do you keep going outside? How do you kind of adapt to the season? So,
well, that's funny. And I know you were about to answer that question, but it's funny because we kind of almost went the other way around. Like we had been for a long time, like rebounding inside, and we've actually been taking advantage of the warmer weather and walking outside a lot more lately, but doing it early in the morning before it gets hot.
Right. So we've answered Jessamine's question, but we're going to build on that and talk about ways that you can look at your activity this summer in a couple of different ways, depending on the climate. And then also thinking about your food choices for the season. A lot of times we can get in ruts, especially when we're grownups who work desk jobs and are just in air-conditioned conditions 24/7, basically, where you can't even see the sun and don't know that it's summer. It can be really, it suddenly a season can go by and you just feel like, oh, I've been doing the same thing. I'm in a rut. We're going to get you out of that rut by thinking about some ways you can switch up your summer. So here we go. Okay, so Jessamine asked a very good question about switching things up for the summer when it is really hot. And for us, for activity, and for you, our dear listener, this is a really good time to ask yourself, is what you're doing right now working for you? If it is, you just saved yourself another 25 minutes of this episode. You can go do that thing that you were going to do.
If you're perfectly happy with everything right now, then you can just fast forward.
But really, like that is actually an option. So the troubleshooting is over. Go and run free. That's great. But if you are finding right now that your summer conditions aren't conducive to your preferred workout routine, this might be a time to switch it up. For example, are you suddenly in a place where it is raining all the time, where it wasn't before?
Yeah.
Is it super hot and humid and terrible outside? Is it maybe cool and delightful Or is that also a circumstance that you might be in?
It might be.
Right. So based on your weather, is this a time to switch up the kinds of exercise that you're doing? I had a coaching client recently. We were talking about going for walks, and she said that, frankly, it's super crazy humid and rains a lot where she is, and walking outside is terrible. And if you are prescriptive and say like, well, I've got to walk, I've got to hit my streak every single day. I've got to walk every single day. Like, that's just what I have to do. And it feels like punishment. Maybe this isn't the season for you to do that.
So if it's too hot outside and, maybe you're coming out of a season where you live where it's a weather that you prefer and you prefer to do your exercise outside. Maybe now it's too hot or too rainy or what have you. So maybe if the problem is heat, I guess this won't solve the rain problem, but you go out early in the AM like we were just talking about, before it gets hot outside, before the sun comes up. Or maybe you decide you're going to join a gym for the summer and, you don't have to do it for the whole year, but you do it just for the summertime months so you can exercise in air conditioning.
Well, and that's a really good point too, because I think people think if they commit to something, they have to do it forever. Like, well, if I join a gym, then I'm a gym person.
Right.
I hate the gym. Okay, but for right now, if it serves the purpose of keeping you air conditioned, it's maybe not the ideal. Sure, you would love to hike the Appalachian Trail or whatever, and you can't. So just do the gym for now, if that's what you need to do. And then you can cancel it if you need to.
Yeah. And, just on a little bit of a side note, the Tour de France is about to start and we wanted to watch it. So I was looking at, the best way to watch it. It was sort of like I could sign up for a subscription service to be able to watch it. And I was like, oh, but then, what am I going to do after? And it was just sort of like, oh, you know what? You can cancel subscription services after a month. You can pay for them for a month and watch the thing. It doesn't have to be like another subscription service that lasts forever.
I know. It's like, oh no, now we've got to watch curling. Like, who wants to do that?
Right, exactly. And it's just sort of, you think about joining a gym, and sometimes I think, well, if I join a gym, then I really have to go to this gym forever. But you really could just sign up with the idea of going for the summer months just to see if it works out for you and to avoid the heat outside. Another thing you could do is look for classes in your community, at your community college, your junior college, or your rec center. We've got a rec center near us that has indoor classes that would be in air conditioning, exercise classes. You could take another sort of indoor class, which would be like a yoga or a Zumba, or you can go swimming. Even when it's hot, you can probably swim outside, or there may be indoor pools in your area that you could join.
Right. And I think too, auditioning new habits new activity habits is a really great thing to do. Instead of thinking of it as forever, like, hey, there's, adult basketball fun time. I don't know what pickup games? Is that what they're called?
Well, yeah, that's not really structured, but
okay.
Yeah.
But like our
pickup games, like when you go to the playground and like you and a bunch of I was going to say bros, but it could be whatever.
She bros.
she bros. Yeah, you just sort of like ask other people to play a game together.
Right. But our rec center has, basketball and Zumba and pickleball classes and different things like that. It's a great opportunity to just try something out if you're not, if you don't consider yourself a pro. Just try something out. Ours actually has aerobics classes, water aerobics. And I was thinking of myself of trying out water aerobics. You know what? If I don't like it, there's $4 down the drain. I've spent $4 on worse things.
I know. I can't believe that the rec center is that inexpensive too by us. I mean, we live in Los Angeles, so I mean, I imagine rec centers are pretty affordable around the world.
Yeah, but just try it out. Try it out. What's it going to hurt?
And if you're not interested in or feel like you're too busy for a structured workout or a class or joining a gym, you can focus on adding summer themed movement, by walking more, going to a farmer's market and walking around gives you the added benefit of, fresh fruit and veggies that you're potentially buying while you're getting some extra walking. Maybe, you do some extra gardening or yard work to get your movement in that you wouldn't be able to do other times a year. Or maybe you're, hanging out in the pool. If you've got a pool that you can hang out in, doesn't have to be organized lap swimming or anything. Or maybe, you know somebody, or you've got kids or whatever, you can throw a frisbee around or do some mini golf, or, join some museums that would be indoors and not hot, and use that as an opportunity to get some steps, like tell yourself, well, I'm going to enjoy taking in the art or the, displays of natural science.
Well, but I think that it really speaks to, we live in Los Angeles. We are at home all the time, toiling and probably dusting and vacuuming and doing those that doesn't really feel like a holiday. That doesn't feel super fun. But really thinking about embracing what your community has for you to get in natural NEAT, that non-exercise activity thermogenesis of wow, our museum has late nights on Friday. Wouldn't it be fun to add that to our lives, to actually get out and see more things? I went to the Santa Monica area just this very week and saw that we have an ocean near us. Yeah. I forgot about it. It is not, it's got to drive there and there's parking, but it felt kind of summery to go down toward the beach. It felt really nice last weekend. We went to the farmer's market, exploring neighborhoods, staying close. Like I said, we're not going out of town this summer, trying new farmer's markets. I've heard there's a farmer's market in Santa Monica. Maybe we could go there one time. That would be fun, and that would be neat.
Here's an unpopular opinion. Turns out that looking at the ocean can be pleasant.
Oh, but there are museums we can go to. There are botanical gardens that have evening strolls. Again, if going to the gym or having 30 minutes of cardio or something isn't fitting your schedule right now, really thinking about just getting organic movement in by enjoying your city really does matter. And it can make it feel much more like you're living an actual human life instead of just on a literal or figurative treadmill.
Yeah. And so, in other words, you decide what suits you in terms of the weather. Maybe this is the time of year that you're trying to get more outdoor activities in, or maybe because it's so hot where you live, that you're trying to get more indoor activities in, and you adjust for you. There's still the old standbys of the rebounder, the walking pad. We only fairly recently got a walking pad. I think we mentioned this on another episode, and I really like it. It doesn't, sort of shake our neighbors' windows, which was part of the problem. But it's not as big and cumbersome as a treadmill. We can slide it under our couch when we're not using it. And it allows me to, get some exercise and watch TV while I'm inside with the air conditioning on. So that is an idea of something to think about.
Yeah. And for us, one of my additives for this summer is I really want to watch the Tour de France, and being able to rebound and watch the Tour de France. Am I going to say France? I can't decide how to say
Tour de France. Yeah.
But being able to pair rebounding with watching the Tour de France is actually something I'm super looking forward to. I haven't watched it in a few years, and I have really missed it. So I'm going to do that. Also, as a final punctuation on the activity part, a lot of times when people see themselves as having streaks, like I said, of getting in steps, or you're a runner, or you're a walker.
Streaks can be a real problem.
When the circumstances of the season change, whether suddenly your kids are home, or it's too hot to go outside, or your HIIT instructor is on maternity leave or something like that, and your circumstances change, you can feel like, oh no, life is over. Now I can't do what I love to do. Thinking of pausing an activity that doesn't fit the season feels a lot better than feeling like you're giving something up. If it's not conducive to this season, it's just you wouldn't be mad that you can't go cross-country skiing right now.
Right.
Oh no, it's not fair. No, it's a seasonal activity. And when you think of embracing activities of the season, whether it be hiking or swimming or biking or walking along the beach or going to the farmer's market, you let go, you you cultivate that idea of being an active person instead of being tied to getting a streak for the total number of days riding a bike at Orange Theory or something like that. Think of yourself as an active person, and an active person adapts to their season.
Yeah, and when I say like streaks can be a real problem, I mean, Catherine just touched on it. You know, I have found that the tendency of people, myself very much included, is you decide you're going to do something every single day and then you miss one day, and then it makes me want to not do anything ever again. Like the idea that I've blown my streak, that I've ruined it, that I've like blown everything, is a real problem.
Right.
Okay, so what about summer food, darling?
Oh, food. It's one of our favorite F words.
Yeah, it sure is.
For one. But again, leaning into what does this season present in terms of opportunities and challenges. For us, we do not have, for example, we don't have central air in our kitchen.
Nope.
And it becomes as hot as the surface of what I imagine is the sun.
Yeah.
In the summertime.
Literally. No, not
and
literally.
Cooking hot food using the stove in summer is terrible.
Yeah.
And it is super unpleasant, especially because my office is also near the kitchen, so it can be very difficult. So thinking about how you can use your food choices in the summer to support your habits really matters. So for example, maybe this is not the deep dish using the stove or the oven at 400 degrees season of your life. Maybe this is a season to step back and think about just eating cold foods. That's right. I'm bold. It's gazpacho time, everyone. How can you embrace salad and fruit and like low or to no oven use foods for yourself?
There's not a man, woman, or child alive today who doesn't enjoy a good gazpacho.
Gazpacho.
Yeah, no, I don't know if that's true, but like lean into salads, lean into fruit platters, lean into veggies. Another thing to do is batch cook things while it's cool. Like do it early in the morning. Get up on a weekend and early or before work and batch cook things in the morning, or maybe use an Instapot or an air fryer, like things that don't really heat up your kitchen in the same way. Or maybe if this isn't a problem for you, you have central air, your kitchen stays cool, it's not a big deal, you just go about your business. But for people like us who whose kitchens get blazing hot, you try some of these other things instead.
Well, maybe I should have started the section with, are you happy with food? Then go away and you can just go live your life. So if you can splice that in later.
Yeah.
But really think about how you can adapt. And this goes into the ability chain. What is making something difficult? Cooking, like by the end of the day, it's really hot. I don't want to cook anything. I've actually been struggling with this recently. This is an actual thing of like, I don't want to chop lettuce. I don't want to cook anything. And so my evening choices haven't been great.
And this is why I do a lot of heat and eat, and a lot of, I buy, and I know some people will turn up their noses. I buy the pre-chopped cauliflower in a bag that I can just snip the corner off of and throw it in a microwave. I don't have to get out a steamer pot or however other ways people cook cauliflower and really heat up the kitchen. It goes in the microwave for 2 minutes and it's done. And I do heat and eat in our toaster oven a lot, in the air fryer. And I don't have to deal with the heat in the summertime in the kitchen.
Right. So for me, something that I can do, and this is about sort of adapting the time that you do things, is for me, if I am rebounding in the morning in our air conditioning, which is lovely, watching the Tour de France, I can, for example, hard boil eggs in the kitchen in the super early morning before it gets hot and not do it in midday. I can make a pot of pasta in the morning, which I've actually done, and portioned it in the morning before it gets really hot. I can make turkey burgers in the morning and then reheat them quickly later in the day so that, again, it's not really hot. And being able to do that while I am rebounding and then just kind of checking on it occasionally keeps it so that all of that is done, one, when I have the most amount of energy, which is early in the morning, and two, I'm not worrying about it, doing it at night when it's hot and, I'm overwhelmed. For me, and this is something like in the last couple of days, Donald might have noticed and not said anything, which I appreciate it, is I made the rookie mistake of buying lettuce that wasn't pre-chopped the other day. Donald, did I want to chop the lettuce last night?
You did not. Last night you were like, I don't want to wash lettuce. You said it in that voice.
Yeah, and I didn't want Donald to do it. At that point,
I offered to do it for you.
I don't like watching Donald do things. It's like, I don't know. I know I like acts of service, but I'm just like,
That sounds very weird.
But like,
I don't like watching him do things.
But troubleshooting my own food habits is like, what would make it easier for me to do the things I say I want to do? That means using my energy in the morning when it's cool to get those few things done and thus setting myself up for success later in the day. If it is feeling like a slog, a lot of times at night, if we're feeling overwhelmed and tired and too hot, we end up making poor decisions. And that could be in the form of just grazing through the kitchen or, hey, let's just get takeout because it's too hot. And when we do that, that's when our habits get sloppy. And frankly, in the last week, my habits have gotten a little sloppy. So this is a good reminder to me to like lean into how can I make it easier to do the things I want to do.
And another way to look at this is if you want to really embrace the outdoor summer season, maybe you use your barbecue grill more.
Whoopee!
And you do your cooking outside. And if you do it right, a barbecue grill can oftentimes be a lower calorie way to cook your food because you don't necessarily need as much oil, etc., depending on the what you're making.
Well, and I was thinking about it too, like how could I make it feel like summer? Like maybe it is just the summer where dinner is rotisserie chicken that I get at the grocery store. No, like that's it. That's what this is the week of rotisserie chicken. Next week, maybe it's hot dog week. And I don't know. I feel like that's like the British Bake Off. It's hot dog week on the British Bake Off. But like,
can you imagine them having hot dog week on British Bake Off?
Okay, they did like a bake off week of like American pie.
Yeah.
And their pies were like Kleenex and Tabasco.
Yeah.
Like I was like, that is not.
That's what we love in America.
But there was one that was like a chocolate pumpkin pie. I'm like, that's never happened in America. Like, I don't know where they're getting their information, but it was not.
Yeah, I love when other countries, like Germany has a thing called Toast Hawaii, which no one in Hawaii has ever had in their whole lives, but it's like ham and pineapple on toast.
On toast,
it's like,
with like a maraschino cherry. But
it's like pretty funny.
Their interpretation is very funny. But I might want to look at, again, I'm trying to build structure into this July because right now we don't have any big plans. How can I make it easier for myself? Maybe it's just bagged salad every night. Maybe it's rotisserie chicken every night. Taking out that decision fatigue. And maybe it's also like Donald, it's the season of the berry. He's eating berries left and right.
Oh my goodness.
Very enjoyable.
I'm like drowning in berries right now. Strawberries, blueberries, blackberries. It's wonderful.
Right. And leaning into the season too, and this is, on a small point. I know water is a big issue for people in winter, in the bitter tundra that is California in December.
That's right. Drinking
lots of cold water isn't in my plan. But right now, infused water is everything to me. So that I tend to lean into water in the summertime when it's super hot, and then I don't prioritize it in winter. So this is a time for me to focus on that. It's okay to have different habits for different seasons.
I just drink cold Coke Zero all year round, so I don't worry about it.
Yeah, so it's fine. But think about ways that you are maybe overcomplicating your food choices and make it simpler. What can you do to make it, like I love watermelon. Love watermelon, love it. I was betrayed by it yesterday. I bought some that wasn't all that great.
Oh my goodness, there was something wrong with it.
And he didn't believe me. And then he was like, "Oh no, you're right. It's not that good." I've got a text chain. Send me an email and I'll send you the text chain.
I have learned in my life to be skeptical of everything people tells me.
I know. Well, I'm very fancy. We agreed that I am a closet Karen who lets others Karen for her.
You tend to be more particular about your fruit than I am.
Yeah. But leaning into the season to make it feel like you are getting the most out of your summer can really help not only divide the year, but not make you feel like you're getting ahead of yourself. I am serious when I said I was traumatized by all of the Halloween gear at that fabric store. I will not go in there the rest of this summer because I really want to stay present. And when we feel like we're being rushed into the next season, looking too far ahead, it can take away from us enjoying the moment that we're in right now. So as we're sort of rounding up this episode, think about ways, and you can ask yourself this, you can ask your friends, your loved ones, your significant other, what would make this season feel like summer to you? What activities could you add as a family? What things could you go and investigate in your community and enjoy in the season, whether it's the farmer's market or hay rides, depending on where you are? I think there's hay in summer also.
Yeah, there's definitely hay in summer, but, not necessarily directly related to weight loss and fitness, but, it can really improve your mindset so that you really are embracing the summer and being present in the moment and mixing up your health and fitness to fit the summer, so that suddenly Joanne Fabric isn't throwing Halloween decorations in your face and you're thinking to yourself that you missed it, that you missed out on the summer and the summer's over, but really looking at what you can do to embrace it while it's happening.
Right. So often we get stuck in, I need to hit a calorie deficit. I need to get in so many steps. And those are the only metrics of success that we see for ourselves. But what feels better than going through, just imagine yourself, and again, we don't want to get too far ahead, but imagine yourself in September looking back at the summer that you've had and imagine how great it would feel to say wow, I really feel like I was able to enjoy my summer. For me, that's wow, I was able to enjoy sunset strolls and fireflies and hanging out in the backyard, chatting and, swimming and chilling out and going on night strolls at the community garden where I'm a member. Maybe it's going to the lake or just checking out the beach. Maybe it's going to baseball games or watching the Tour de France or watching the Olympics. Taking day trips to, check out farmers markets in not only the one in your neighborhood, but in other neighborhoods. What would make it feel like summer for you? For me, I tend to be so driven by my to-do list. And again, usually summer school for our teen.
Yeah.
And I got to do laundry and I got to move forward. I would really like to slow down this summer and savor what makes it feel like summer. What makes me feel like a human person who is not just driven by my calorie goals or my step count goals, but really making my life a little bit bigger. If we slow down and enjoy what we're doing, that's what maintaining a lifestyle is. Actually taking time to slow down and step away from trackers. Please track. That's a good thing. But step away from what you feel like is your to-do list for fitness and health, and really making your life bigger and more enjoyable. That's something that I want to focus on and embrace this summer. So that is what I hope for you. What do you hope to embrace this summer, Donald?
Before I answer that question, I just would like to point out that you made a list of things to help you, embrace the summer here. And one thing you didn't actually mention was dog parades.
I put that on my list.
You wrote dog parades on the list, and like we're recording, and I'm watching. Like
you're just
I'm
waiting for me to say dog parade.
I'm looking at the list, and you're kind of going down it, and I look and I see dog parades, and it was all I could do not to burst out laughing while we're recording. But dog parades are the cutest
things. There's actually, I need to figure out what it is, but there is a corgi dog parade at a beach down like in the south part of Huntington. Is Huntington Beach a place?
Yeah.
Huntington Beach.
That
there
sounds
is
really
a corgi parade where they dress up all the corgis. And I love corgis. So maybe a dog parade would make it feel like summer to you. I thought you were going to say, honestly, Donald, aside from Comic-Con, what would make summer feel like summer to you?
This is probably like not everyone's cup of tea, but we watch these like videos on YouTube, just sort of in the background. They're ambience videos, and ones that are specifically like summery with beaches and fireworks and 4th of July and things like that. Like we have one, we're actually playing one right now as we record this. That really makes it feel like summer to me. But
yeah,
I did sort of make I'm not that much of a beach person, even though I love the ocean. I did sort of make a semi-commitment to myself that I was going to try and visit the actual beach a couple of times this year, because that would make it really feel summery to me.
Right, and it's a bit of a quest for us.
Yeah.
So saying like, oh, I'm going to go to the beach every single day, that's not probably going to happen.
I'm just saying like once or twice this summer, I want to actually go and sit on the beach, because it's only about 40 minutes from here, really.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like 45,000, things in the back of your pickup truck to make a beach adventure, but just going to the beach. That sounds very pleasant. We keep it simple. I think I can make that happen for us also. So your job is beach. And my job is beach. And
our jobs are beach. And your other job is to continue listening to We Only Look Thin.
Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Thank you for doing that. And, really, I think the point here, just to put a quick bow on it, is, really think about how you can mix up your health and fitness adventure journey to make it feel summery and to take advantage of the summer, and or continue to do it while the summer heat is beating down on you one way or another. But thank you so much for listening to this episode. We have many, many other episodes that you can enjoy wherever you find podcasts. The most recent 300 are on all of the major podcast platforms. That's not us. That's the podcast platforms, limited to 300. But if you want to go back and listen to it from episode 1, you can find everything on YouTube now from episode 1, or you can go to our website and listen there at weonlylookthin.com.
Yep, and if you are at weonlylookthin.com, click on that link for Join Our Support Group to find out more about WOLT Place. WOLT Place is our Facebook-based accountability group for women. We are not a weight loss plan, but we are a place for support and accountability and fellowship and check-ins and, helping one another navigate the rocky waters of our fitness journey ventures. We are super supportive. Everyone is so kind and generous. I do weekly Zoom meetings. I do check-ins in the AM and PM. So there's lots of different ways to be connected. If you are interested in finding out more, please click on that link for Join Our Support Group. Again, we've got 2 subscription options, a monthly subscription with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if WOLT Place is right for you.
Yes, definitely check that out. And also, I'm going to announce right now that Rocky Waters is my new name for the summer.
Oh, okay.
I want everyone to call me Rocky Waters for the rest of the summer until September. And also, if you want to interact with us in other ways, you can find us on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook at We Only Look Thin. And you can also send us an email. We still accept those, even in this day and age.
You make it sound like Visa.
I know. I don't know.
American the traveler checks or something.
I don't know. I'm probably the only one, but I think it's funny to think of email as sort of being old-fashioned.
It is old-fashioned
at this point. But you can send us an email to weonlylookthin onlylookfin@gmail.com. We like getting episode suggestions. We'll do our best to answer your questions. If you like to see something, an episode, maybe we haven't touched on a topic in a while, or you want us to do a deeper dive on something, give us a shout out once again to weonlylookfin@gmail.com.
Yep. And if you can head over to Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating and a review. Not only does it let us know that after all these years, we are still connecting with new listeners, but it lets us know that what we're doing matters in your journey venture. And it also helps boost our ratings on Apple Podcast and helps others find our podcast when they are looking for super duper fun journey venture podcasts like ours.
Absolutely. And another thing you could do is just give us a shout out. Word of mouth really does help the show grow, and we would really be grateful if you would just tell somebody about the show, whether that's face-to-face in a conversation, on a Zoom call, on an old-fashioned telephone call, a text message. Maybe you could text everyone in your phone address book and just say, hey, check us out with a link to the podcast, because they would love you for that. Or if you're on in an online group, if you are in a Reddit group, if you're in a Facebook group, if you're on a Discord server, something like that, where it seems appropriate to give us a shout-out, we would really appreciate it if you would let people know that you enjoy us.
Yep. So if you are looking forward to looking for Donald and I at a splash pad farmer's market or dog parade this summer, just remember that Donald and I are an inspiration. Oh, wait, your summer name is Rocky
Waters.
Rocky Waters.
Rocky Waters.
Me and Rocky Waters.
At the dog parade.
At the dog parade doing a pickup basketball.
The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.